Yeah, anybody.
We've got another call coming in. This is Brian in Chicago. How are you doing, Brian?
Doing well. Andy, Chris, Rachel, Jeff in the audience. How are you?
Oh, wow. Jesus. Hello, Senator Brian. God damn. You're running for office, Brian?
Yeah. That's Chicago.
I will try now. Thank you for the vote of confidence.
Yeah. Well, and thank you for holding. What have you got for us there, Brian?
I'm calling to tell you about an event that happened at one of my best friend's weddings. He got married in Siesta Key, Florida. We're all from the Chicago suburbs. So we traveled down there. The wedding goes great. We're hot, well-fed, well-beveraged for a few days. On the last day that we're there, the wedding party decides, let's go jet skiing. And this is not really my forte of things. I'll warn you, I'm a big boy, horizontally challenged, feel at home amongst the manatees. But they decide to go, and I'm worried about like weight limits and like if I fall off, do I have enough upper body strength to like pull myself back up? So all these anxious thoughts are going through my mind. So long story short, we get on the water, and 15 minutes into our 1 hour ride, I'm distracted. I miss a sign, and all of a sudden I'm in thick seaweed. And I'm going, and immediately the jet ski just... I start to try throttling. It's just puttering like a dying lawnmower. And then I remember the instructor told us what to do in this situation. He said, it's easy. You jump off the jet ski, you reach into the engine, you pull out the seaweed, you get back on.
Oh.
And yeah, I was like, cool, great, I'll do that. Luckily, I had steered so far in, I was basically only in 3 feet deep of water. So I was able to jump off and stand, and I do all the things that he tells me to do. And I don't know if it's worked or not, because I need to jump back on the jet ski, turn it back on to see if it happened. So I start pushing the jet ski like I'm pushing a car in neutral up a hill. I'm trying to gain some speed so I can kind of just, jump back on the back and see what happens.
Like Zorro.
As I put my foot down to launch, I slice the bottom of my foot on a seashell. And I get myself up. And I'm like, oh, man, worst of it's over. I just cut my foot. No big deal. Same noise again as soon as I hit that throttle. Nothing's happening. Now that I've made it 15 minutes out, I have been passed by everyone else in our party. They have gone all the way down the canal and back. And I've realized I can only go about 3 miles an hour in idle all the way back to where I started. So these other people, some of which are in the best shape of their lives, doing tricks and all this stuff on the jet skis, are lapping me, heading back to the gate. I'm just this floating obstacle that everyone's got to get by. And then I finally get back to the dock as I see everyone standing in their life jackets waiting for me to round the corner. And here I come in like this sad parade float that makes its way back. And the guy looks at me, the instructor, and he's like, just don't even try. Like, just get off. And then he jumps in the water and tries parking this thing, and he can't get it to throttle. He does the reach his hand in the engine trick. It doesn't work. So I'm watching him struggle, feeling a little bit better about myself. And I know we signed papers saying that I was responsible for the damage, but I'm thinking, I'm not paying for a damn thing. This was the worst experience of my life. And luckily, I never heard from that jet ski company again.
Oh, yeah.
And at what point have you passed out due to blood loss from the seashell injury in the story?
It wasn't as bad as I thought. Luckily, I am a flat-footed bitch, so that really, really helped make sure it didn't get too deep.
Oh, no, we implied that, Brian.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No.
That's actually going to be my campaign slogan.
Flat-footed bitch. I love, there were so many thematic, the motif of that, the seashell slicing your foot, was a very Hans Christian Andersen Little Mermaid kind of a thing. And then the story itself is a bit of an ugly duckling, but instead of the ugly duckling, it's the idling jet skier, And I think you come out on top. You come out on top in the end. That, you didn't risk a serious injury by doing any of those stunts that everyone else was doing, right? You slow and steady. You showed up, and I think you did the best of the group, Brian. None of us want to see a group of guys doing well on jet skis. I think you are the hero, Brian.
Right.
But also, I was in suspense.
In today's climate, that positivity is welcomed.
The bodily harm. That story was very Final Destination to me. That you had to stick your hand in an engine.
Yes.
Right.
You cut on
And
the
then I
seashell.
found the underwater power line.
Like I was trying to, this story continued, I pictured that there was a leg gone, another leg gone. Like by the end of the story, when I was picturing you, you were just a torso and a head sitting on a table somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that you're intact.
It's a very Floridian
Thank you.
safety
What I was
guideline to shove your hand in a motor.
What I was really trying to avoid is they gave us an emergency phone number to call to come get towed. And I'm like, the last thing I need is this well-in-shape jet ski guy to come tow me in front of my friends.
Right.
Or would he have
that's
been
what I
like,
was really
no
trying
one's
to
ever
avoid.
called this number.
Yeah.
I've sat in this room
Finally.
for 45 years waiting for someone to call the jet ski number.
Yeah.
Will
I
you
put
marry
this
me?
seaweed here to trap people.
You freed me from my magic lamp.
I had a somewhat similar thing happen to me in La Jolla. We were in vacationing, and there's an area in La Jolla Shores where tons of people go out all the time in the little kayaks.
Oh, sure.
You know, and you go out and you can see rays, and there's lots of sea lions, and you go up by the rocks by La Jolla, you know, the town of La Jolla. And I went with my son and his friend. They were like 12. And as we were coming back in, I started to really feel like, and I'm not a great swimmer, and I do get nervous in the ocean because it can kill you. And I was coming back, and I felt like I just was like, this kayak, I don't know how people do this. It's so tipsy. And sure enough, at like halfway back in, I tipped over, just like, not even anything really happened. And then I kept trying to get back on, and I couldn't get back on, and couldn't get back on. And I look and I see in my 12-year-old son and his friends like face like real concern about their father and friend's father, like, oh, he's in real trouble out there. So then like the two young women that are there, and they're in like a double one, they come over and try and help me get up on my canoe, and in the process I dump them into the water, and now
You were like a bucking bronco.
Yeah, just like the humiliation is just piling up,
Yeah.
and I cannot get back on this kayak of mine. So
Yeah.
they're just like, well, you're not that far from where you can just walk in, so we'll just kind of push you in towards there. And I was so apologetic to them about knocking them off theirs, and they both went like, it's okay, we needed to pee. So I was like, oh, all right, I totally get that. Yeah.
I like the we.
Yeah. No, they both. I mean, they
They're
were like,
pissed
I
sick.
needed to pee, and the other was like, yeah, me too.
They're
No,
symbiotic
yeah.
kisses.
You did me a favor because
Yeah.
I'm working. I can't just jump off and take a leak.
Right. Right.
I get into the shallows, and I'm pulling this kayak, and it weighs like 1,000 pounds.
Yeah.
And when I get into the shore, I realize, they're like blow molded. They're like plastic kind of blow molded, and there's a metal seal, like a metal disc that seals it. It's cracked. The fucking thing's full of
taking
water.
Yeah.
And like two guys from the company have to come and help me drag it up because it's so heavy. And I just was thinking there was no one to go like, see, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me. And no one would care.
Right.
But I did tell my son, like,
See,
hey,
it
it was
wasn't
full of water.
Yeah.
That wasn't your father's impotence. his lack of lividity.
What was the term? The limp noodle?
Noodle droop.
Noodle droop, yeah.
Noodle
I had
droop.
aquatic noodle droop. Right
Yeah, which is a new ramen you can buy for half price. Also, we did a whitewater kayak. My dad was a Yahoo and wanted us to do whitewater kayaking.
Yeah.
And the term, what stuck with me was the term "wet exit," and it's because you're wearing a skirt over the
Right.
kayak, so it's like you're a centaur.
Yeah.
You're one with the kayak, and to get out when you tip over. And your head's getting dragged along the rocks. You have to take this skirt. I'm like in third grade, doing a wet exit in New Hampshire in libertarian country. You're attached I try to drop the term wet exit once a week, and people are like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Looks
We still got
a wet
Brian.
exit. Yeah. Looks like we're gonna have to have a wet exit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Brian, thank you so much for calling. You're still there, right?
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian. We missed you.
Still there. Be careful.